Hello, everybody. Good to see you today. We'll give everybody just a minute to get on here, and then we'll jump in. All right. Today I am talking about being teachable. And, I could ask every one of you, do you like being corrected? And you might say, well, it depends on who and it depends on how. But the truth is, we need to all be able to be corrected and receive advice. That's one of the things that God's looking for in us is He's looking for people that are able to be taught, that we are teachable. If we can say yes to that, we can grow and we can have help. We also need to gauge who we have doing the correcting. Everybody doesn't have a right to speak into your life. I say that often, but I think we need to hear that on a regular basis. There's just some people that we don't need to give access to our lives and the right to make corrections. We need to take some things that people say with a grain of salt, and you just kind of consider it, what it is. It's an opinion. There's a difference between that and good corrective advice. But when I start something new, I think about if I'm going to change what I'm doing or do something new. When I started roping, just regular as a team roper and calf roper, roping in the pasture, there was certain ways to rope, and I went to people who knew more than me and that could teach me. But when I switched from rodeo type roping to ranch loops and ranch roping, especially the big loops, I went to guys that were gifted in this. It's a whole different world out there among the guys that are roping in the Brandon pen or maybe doctoring cattle with the big loops and even the competitions. It's a fun change, but it didn't do me any good to talk to people who didn't know what they were doing. So I want to make sure that I go to people who are maybe just a little further ahead of me, maybe even an expert, but make sure that expert is a good teacher. There's something about experts and listening to them that you can tell pretty quick the ones who've forgotten what it's like to maybe be a beginner. I can go to guitar's another good example for me. I'm working to be better all the time. I'm working to try to improve in a certain skill set where playing guitar is concerned. And, some guys, you ask them and they just say, well, it's like this. You just do this. But they can't tell you the steps of how to get there. There's others that are gifted in the area of teaching. And so, that's the people I want to get to. As I look at the Word of God, and I want to use the Word of God as the guide for my life in all areas. It's there for us in all areas. And most of you who are out here watching this, you're looking to be better and be taught and be ministered to. Well, Proverbs, and I was writing this out earlier, Proverbs chapter 1, out of the New Living Translation, it gives us well, all of them do, but I love the way this reads in verses 2 through 6. It says, the purpose of the Proverbs, it's to teach people wisdom and discipline. It's to help them understand the insights of the wise. He's saying, I want you to tap into the wisdom of others, and not just any others, but the wise where God and His counsel are concerned. He goes on to say, their purpose, the Proverbs, is to teach people to live a disciplined and successful life, and to help them do what's right, just, and fair. The Bible wants us to prosper in what we do. They want us to succeed, but they don't want success or prosperity to mess us up. In reality, sometimes you see people who, when they're in the struggle and the grind of life, they're doing things right. They're faithful in a lot of things, in the little things and the big things. And then when they get wealthy or they have prosperity, they aren't able to enjoy it because it messes up their lives. Maybe all of a sudden now they've got free time and they begin to get in trouble, or maybe they get under such a pressure to maintain that lifestyle that then it consumes them. There's a lot of different ways it can mess us up. It's always good if balanced by wisdom, and that's what God teaches us, to continually do things that are right, just, and fair. These proverbs will give insight to the simple and to the young, knowledge and discernment to the young. Now, I love that because I may not be young anymore, but sometimes I can, I may have an area where I'm just a simple guy, somebody who's needs it simple, likes it to be simple. Maybe our level, your level, you'd say, well, I need it to be simple. It goes on, he says, let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. So regardless of our level, we can become wiser. So for the simple person, we can become wiser. For the wise person, we can become wiser. God teaches us those things. It says, let those with understanding receive guidance. So there's some wisdom for you right there. And by exploring the meaning of these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles will develop more and more wisdom. That's where I want to be. I want to have the wisdom of God to handle the challenges of life. Let me ask you this question. Are you willing to receive instruction? Are you willing to receive help? Pride sometimes gets in our way. We get proud. We're not being humble. If we can be humble enough to say, you know what, I value good advice. I like having somebody help me see something maybe I couldn't see. That's the better part of wisdom. We need to be able to be willing to say, I don't know it all. Newsflash, you don't. I don't. There's always something that we can learn from others. I'll close with this. Proverbs 11:2 says, when pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble is wisdom. With humility, in other words, there's wisdom. Just understanding that we don't know it all, that our opinion isn't the only one that matters, and there's insight that others have that can benefit us. Boy, we'll go a lot further in life, and life will begin to be easier. So remain teachable. Just challenge you with that. Ask yourself, am I being hard-headed? Am I not being willing to take advice? Am I unwilling to be teachable? And if so, just humble yourself. 1 Peter 5:6 says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, and He'll exalt you in due time. I don't know about you, but I want to be in the position He wants me to be in more than any other. And with that, just think about that as you go through your day, and do something good for somebody. And as always, go get them for Jesus. Love y'all.